Thank you for staying with us. This is Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. I am Emeka Daniel. This morning, we'll be looking at a critical issue. Oil marketers in Nigeria are panicking over Dangote's plan to start distributing fuel directly to end users in the nation. In this plan, Dangote has already acquired about 4,000 CNG trucks, that compressed natural gas powered trucks, to start distributing fuel directly. And with this move, Dangote is going to revolutionize the downstream sector of the oil economy in Nigeria. Oil marketers under the aegis of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, have raised concerns over the Dangote Petroleum Refinery's plan to distribute fuel directly to filling stations and other businesses nationwide. Petron warned that the policy could lead to job losses and place Dangote in a monopoly-like position with a production capacity of about 650,000 barrels per day. Petron argues that Dangote should be competing with global refineries and not operating as a distributor in the downstream sector. In a statement released by Dangote, I'll quickly take a look at that. Let's look at the statement released. Dangote Petroleum Refinery is pleased to announce the commencement of a significant national initiative designed to transform Nigeria's fuel distribution landscape. Effective August 15, 2025, the refinery will begin the distribution of premium motor spirits and diesel to marketers, petrol dealers, manufacturers, telecoms firms, aviation, and other large users across the country. With free logistics to boost distribution network. The statement further says, this strategic program is part of our broader commitment to eliminating logistics costs, enhancing energy efficiency, promoting sustainability, and supporting Nigeria's economic development. That's what the statement said. So as it is now, Dangote is poised to revolutionize the downstream oil sector in Nigeria. And Petron is raising alarm, saying a lot of jobs will be lost if Dangote should start distributing directly to filling stations, to telecoms organizations, because a lot of people have businesses supplying telecoms organizations with diesel, manufacturers. So Dangote basically will be cutting out the middlemen in this game. But Petron is saying for someone who has a 650,000 barrels per day refinery, he should be competing globally with other refineries and not playing as an operator, distributing fuel directly to users. A lot has been said concerning that. They are saying it's going to give him a monopoly-like position. But Dangote is not the first person who has done something like this. In 1870, John D. Rockefeller in the United States founded Standard Oil. And between 1870 and 1897, Standard Oil became very powerful. A lot of people criticize him for his monopoly. In the 1900s, by the year 1900, Standard Oil was already controlling 90% of the national production in the oil sector in the United States. He controlled everything. John D. Rockefeller controlled everything from refining to transportation to distribution. So he became powerful, very powerful. He was, of course, America's first billionaire, and he enjoyed that monopoly for so long until 1911. It took a Supreme Court ruling in 1911 to dismantle Standard Oil, breaking it down into 34 separate entities, from which now came out what we know as ExxonMobil and Chevron Corporation. That is that about the United States. Now, a Nigerian, the richest man in Nigeria, the richest man in Africa, Aliko Dangote, is about to repeat the same playbook, trying to revolutionize the downstream sector in Nigeria. He has acquired 4,000 CNG trucks already. For those who argue that jobs will be lost, the question again is, those trucks are not self-driven trucks. So drivers, of course, will be employed. So different sides of the divide. We'll be looking at the pros and cons here. Apart from Petron, who has kicked against it, Ipman has actually welcomed the development. According to Ipman, the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, they believe it is a welcome development. that whatever will provide us with energy security in Nigeria and reduce costs for end users, because one of the goals of Dangote is to reduce costs for end users. Starting from August 15, he intends to start distributing directly to the end users, to filling stations, and to the large, users, manufacturers, telecoms firms. So the price will be brought down, and he's also offering free logistics, free delivery to them. That is one offer they cannot decline. So while Petron is kicking against it, we have Ipman who are seeing it as a welcome development. Joining us on the conversation this morning is Mr. Omotosho. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure being here.
Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Looking at the oil sector in Nigeria, we're about to experience a revolution by one man, by Dangote. First, he started the Dangote refinery, a 650,000 barrel per day capacity refinery, one of the largest in sub-Saharan Africa. What the federal government of Nigeria couldn't achieve in decades, we have one man, a private individual, doing it. Now he intends to start playing in the downstream sector by distributing fuel directly to the end users. Some parts of the nation, some organizations are complaining that it will put a lot of people out of business. Now, Mr. Motosho, owners of tank farms, jetties, and some other facilities like that will be rendered absolutely useless. They will become obsolete because these guys have been doing business based on the principle of importation of fuel. That's why we needed tank farms and jetties. Now that Dangote is here, the refinery is here, and he wants to start distributing directly to them, he will put a lot of them out of business. And some people are complaining that he's going to have a monopoly-like position. What's your take on that? Considering that and also the benefits to the end users, because Dangote would actually crash prices, pump prices to end users.
Thank you very much. This is a very good and sensitive topic. And it is interesting. I must start by commending Dangote for his initiative. Without Dangote, we will be in the era of those days of long queues, staying overnight to look for petrol and the rest of them. And you are aware of the lies, the fallacies from the government side over whether the government refineries are working or not working. I need to just mention that because you remember they said the Warri refinery was working, the Port Harcourt refinery has started working, only for us to discover they are not just working. We said it here. I was one of those who said it here several times and in some other stations that those refineries are not working. They are doing 419, and it has come out. When the new MD came, he told the whole world that refinery is shut down. It's not working. So without Dangote, we would still be doing the importation we are doing, and that place was a cesspool of corruption, and then we'll continue with that bad behavior. Now, Dangote is bringing new initiatives to his business. It's his business, even though it concerns all of us. Good initiatives, I support him. If you want to distribute directly to retailers, so may it be, as long as we are getting the PMS as at when due. And the man is even reducing price. I don't know when government has decided to reduce price in this country, except when Yar'Adua was president. And so government is always interested in saying the prices are going up because of competitiveness here and there. And Dangote is saying, look, he has been reducing the prices consistently. And Nigerians have been thanking him. Even though we are buying at 800 and something, 850 or 900 per liter, it is still better because we are getting it and it's telling us when the price will go down, it will go down. When it will go up a bit, it will tell us, but it's been going down consistently. I think that is good. The price at which he's selling now is a competitive price. So if from his boardroom, they decided that, look, let us, pull these wholesalers aside, it means there are problems. The wholesalers are the major problem. Mind you, they are the people we call the independent marketers. They are the people who benefited or who are benefiting from this import of PMS that they don't even know how much we need per day. We don't know how much they import per day. They import what they like. They put the invoice they like, and they turn the place to a cesspool of corruption to the extent that they are making the country to the extent that the subsidy has to be cancelled at the expense of the common man. The cancellation of the subsidy is not because the common man likes it. It's because of the corruption in that particular sector. That was why Nigerians say, okay, cancel it. And unfortunately for us, the president put the cart before the horse. He cancelled it unilaterally. And he said he's taking the courageous decision. I wouldn't see any courageous decision there. The one that is a courageous decision is what Dangote is taking now. What is a courageous decision? A courageous decision is when you carry your stakeholders along and you call them together, you call your citizens as a president and say, this is where I am going. This is what I want to do. How do you feel about it? That is courageous. That's courage. But when you ambush us and tell us that overnight you just wake up and say you have cancelled PMS subsidy, you have floated the naira without telling us, it means you are afraid. You are not courageous enough to tell us before. That's why you ambush us. So all the economic reform decisions the president has taken and they are saying is courageous. The president,
this is
I'm coming. The president is a coward in that area. He was not courageous enough. He behaved like a coward, and he is a coward.
All right, Dr.
Let me land. And he is a coward. And the point is that this courageous decision Dangote is taking, mind you, is going to affect so many people.
Dr. Lee, we are talking about the president here.
I'm talking. Yes.
Let's be mindful about the.
I'm mindful.
Please go ahead.
Well, by saying he's a coward means that he didn't. He said he took a courageous decision, but the decisions he took were cowardice. That is what I mean, and I stand by it. Because if you want to take a courageous decision, you should be bold enough to call all of us together and say, ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, this is where I am going. How do you feel? Not that you ambush us.
All right, Dr. I'd like you to hold that thought.
These economic decisions he has taken, mind you, if you remember, I want to take your mind back. All the economic decisions taken by Falaye Babangida. So there is nothing new. And Babangida discussed it publicly before he took his decision, whether right or wrong.
We have someone joining us. I just want you to hold that thought, Dr. Motoshaw. We will continue with that. We understand we have Mr. Jose Asheda, an investment banker and economic analyst joining us virtually. Good morning, Mr. Asheda.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here.
Same here. Happy to have you. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Okay.
Mr. Asheda, I want to believe you heard the introduction, or do I have to reiterate that point?
No. I heard you clearly.
Okay, so we are looking at Dangote and his plan, his fuel distribution plan. And in my introduction, I talked about what John D. Rockefeller did with Standard Oil in the United States of America.
Yeah.
How he controlled the entire sector, the oil sector in America, controlling about 90% of oil production, oil refining, distribution, and everything, including transportation. He did all that, and he came under fire. In fact, in 1913, John D's Rockefeller wealth was about $900 million, which was about 3% of America's GDP of $39.1 billion that year. So he came under controversy, and they had to dismantle Standard Oil, from which we now had organizations like ExxonMobil and Chevron Corporation. Now the same playbook is about to play out here in Nigeria. If you look at it as an expert from that angle, as an expert and economic historian, some people are afraid that what Dangote is about to do in the downstream sector will lead to monopoly. But again, Dr. Asheda, it will benefit the end users. Prices will crash, at least in the first instance. But when it gains that monopoly, what it does afterwards is the question now. What is your own opinion? Petron are kicking against it, but IPMAN, the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, are saying it's a welcome development. In your own opinion, as an expert, what do you see happening if Dangote goes fully into the downstream sector of the oil economy in Nigeria?
Okay, so you will recall that I have said this before, and I will just repeat it again, that refinery could actually deliver less than 300 naira per liter at our pumps. So because of the structure of how it is set up, it is ultra cost effective. Okay, so when I heard people say, oh, something is coming drastically down, all that, and all those things, I'm still telling you that I've said that before, that it can do a lot better. That said, that is one. And of course, you will also see that there's an hint toward that. Each of those trucks that he bought cost money. That's billions of naira. That is millions of dollars. Now he's going to be using those trucks to deliver the product free. What is offsetting that cost? Because it definitely has cost. What will be offsetting it? So again, that is telling you that refinery, I'm a finance expert. That's what I do for a living. That's what I was doing before I stood up to pick this call. So I'm telling you now that refinery could do a lot better than what he's doing. Okay, so now with this initiative, which is good, okay, momentarily, it is good, but in the long run, the whole economy is going to catch up with him in terms of cost efficiency and all that. So in the interim,
how do you mean exactly? If you say catch up with him, cost in terms of cost efficiency, how do you mean? Because when it starts, he will crash the prices, he will capture market share. So how will cost efficiency play out in the long run?
Now, what will happen now eventually is that we will get used to the cost. It's reducing right now, and we're excited, marginally. But as an investment person, I can tell you that refinery can do less than 300 naira per liter at the pumps. So by the time the market is perfect, the market can be slow to get to that equilibrium of knowledge, of information, but eventually it will. What drives the market is knowledge, is information. So that's why the market is perfect. So when the market gets of course, the appropriate information will come out, and eventually the market will have to balance. So that will now result into us demanding, do you understand? People now querying the cost structure. We've said this before, but that's by the way. For now, this is good. You understand? And I can tell you that the Petrocam or whatever they call themselves and the other parties in the value chain, yes, actually pushed Dangote into this. Remember that at some point he had about almost 1 million liter stored up, and production is still going on, and nobody is coming to lift. That happened maybe late last year. You understand? So you've given him, they pushed him to do this. You understand? And now he's doing it. But my fear is that eventually this will lead to monopoly, which is true. You cannot hide from that fact. That refinery can supply every petroleum product need of Nigeria and have enough to export. That should tell you something. This man has made the investment, he must sell. So automatically it tends towards monopoly. But you see, the story of Rockefeller that you mentioned happened in the US, and you can see what they did. They had to break it up. Now, do we have that? And the breaking up of that monopoly was for the people of the United States of America. So do we have that structure to be able to break up a monopoly, whether by Dangote or anybody else? That duty falls on the government. As of today, this is beneficial, but I can also tell you this refinery can deliver far more. So
all right,
when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But the government, and that function falls in the House of Assembly, at the foot of the legislatures. I mean, the legislature. So they have to be able to come up with something to be able to break a monopoly once it arises.
Thank you. Now, this particular scheme that we are talking about, there is a flyer, an advert, a thing that was done to that effect. And what was seen, it's Dangote Petroleum Refineries to distribute PMS and diesel with free logistics nationwide. And they said, some riders to that says, deploys 4,000 CNG tankers to enhance distribution network nationwide. Offer open to marketers, petrol dealers, manufacturers, telecom firms, aviation, and other large users. Now, they thank the president for his continued support, especially through the Naira for Cool scheme, a Naira First policy, and the presidential compressed natural gas initiative. Now, they now listed the key benefits, and I'd like to reel that out. Saying delivery is free throughout Nigeria, credit facility for bulk buyers supported with bank guarantee, total elimination of logistics and transportation costs, lower fuel prices at the point of sale, improved fuel accessibility for both urban and rural communities, enhanced environmental sustainability through optimized delivery systems, support for local economies and businesses, strengthen long-term energy security and national efficiency, increase government revenue, and you cannot buy high-quality vehicles and equipment because we produce Euro V, that's Euro 5 and 6 standards. And at the center of that, it said bonanza. Purchase minimum of 500,000 liters and get another 500,000 liters on credit for 2 weeks on that bank guarantee. With all these key benefits that Dangote company listed, the question is, my first question to you is, what more can Nigerians ask for?
Look, with all due respect, now, what you just listed are the kind of things that will come out from our own desk.
Okay.
And we have an objective for want to doing that. And it's because we want to improve our access to the market or increase our market share. This is not strange to me. This is the work of good investment people,
right?
People that understand business. It is good because you cannot get what you want by not offering people what they need. So it is offering us something. I have no quarrel with that.
Okay.
Everything listed in that is good, but we must not be carried away, and that is my point here. Okay, now imagine everything, all those things that were listed are being done. How can a new refinery start up? Where will that person or that investment go? As of today, there are millions of dollars of investment in refineries going on right now. What will happen to those investments? Do you understand? What will happen to do? Because what effectively, if you are able to do this, you lock up that downstream sector.
Mr. Shadadi is an initiative from a company. Whenever another company wants to come in, hold on, sir. If there is any other company that wants to come into the sector, they will have to come with a better alternative. The more the merrier for Nigerians, isn't it?
Listen, honestly, I'm telling you right now, you are being short-sighted.
Okay.
You are being short-sighted. You have to also look at the history of Dangote. In the sugar industry, what did he do? That's exactly what he did. He came up with this one and knock everybody and then move up his price. Okay, he did the same thing with salt. He did the same thing with flour. So listen, the truth of the matter is that you have to look at that. But however, I'm going to say, well, he did that with that one. And listen, today we are jubilating. Tomorrow we will not, and I can tell you that.
All right,
please.
Today, you don't have, the market does not have complete information. The market will have complete and total information, perfect information tomorrow. Do you understand? And the market is perfect. The
Mr.
market
Ashada, please
will
hold on.
react.
Let me hold you there.
Now,
let me hold you there, sir. We'll come back to you. I have Dr. Motoshola in the studio. Please hold on. Dr. Motosho, you seem not to agree
No.
with, please hold on, yeah. Mr. Jose Asheda is an investment banker, an economist analyst as well. And I'm sure you have your own CV in finance and accounting as well. Now, he's saying we should see beyond this good news that it appears that there is an history with, with Dangote and some of his businesses that he just wants to capture, the industry, and then he might decide to do what he wants with it, But you seem not to agree.
No, what he talked about monopoly.
Yes.
Fine, monopoly.
Do you see that as well?
I'm coming. What do we have?
No,
now?
Dr. Matojo, do you see that?
Yes, I'm coming to that now.
Okay.
What do we have now? What do we have right now? Tell me one other refinery that is producing now. None.
So that's a good point.
All the 4 refineries are not working. The government is epileptic. The refineries are equally epileptic. The president himself is lethargic about it. That is 1. 2, now you have a man, an investor, an industrialist, who observed that the poverty rate in Nigeria is going every day, and he wants to reduce the suffering of the Nigerians. And he said temporarily, totally good. Let him reduce the price now totally, so that, temporarily, at least, maybe for the next 1 year or 2 years, we enjoy that. All these other investors he's talking about, who is preventing them from coming upstream? Who is actually stopping them? If you want to set up a refinery like Dangote now, who is stopping you? Go and set it up and then come and compete. And the man has a strategy. He said, the wholesalers are our big problem. And it's not that they are going to be out of business totally. The man he may have logistic problems initially, but he is determined to make PMS, diesel and other petrochemical products available to Nigerians, accessible one, and possibly at affordable prices. And as a businessman, if he says his price is going up at a particular time, we will not blame him too much, because at least when it goes down, we know it. So for now, he is telling us, let the prices go down, and that he doesn't want all these bottlenecks. And he has the capacity to do it. He said that he can sell below 300 naira. I don't know. My research has not told me that. I'm not part of them. But I know that this man has invested $20 billion. He wants profit. And in an attempt to make profit, he has to do some other things. So what I see Dangote doing is helping Nigerians temporarily. When we get to the bridge, I want to use his own language, of increasing price, of Dangote becoming a monopolist, and he wants to increase prices highly. We will cross that bridge again when we get there. But right now, let him help us. We are suffering.
All right, Dr. Motosho. Very good points made there. I'll still come back to you. But before then, Mr. Asheda, an energy expert, Professor Wumi Ledare, does not see this as a monopoly. He thinks it's a classic example of vertical integration. That's according to Professor Ledare. He says, fine, what Dangote is doing, direct fuel distribution, will disrupt traditional channels. But in the long run, okay, it will reduce pump prices and create efficiency in the system. So he's not looking at it from the angle of monopoly. Remember, I cited the case of John D. Rockefeller and Standard Oil. But when we have a system, when the government refineries are not working, just like Dr. Motosho just pointed out right now, and the system is in comatose, we have someone who has invested so much. You are an economic expert, Mr. Asheda. You encourage competition, right? So when we have a system where someone is coming forth to compete and he has his resources, why should we stop him? You are saying that in the long run, he will increase prices. But for now, do we really have better options? And according to IPMAN, the places where their own trucks, the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, the places where their own trucks cannot get to, Dangote's trucks will get there. Dangote has invested so much. He has purchased 4,000 CNG trucks to aid this distribution. So Ipman is saying the more the merrier, that the more the supply, the more prices will crash. And that is exactly what happens in economics, and you would agree with that. So what's your take on that? Do you also believe this might just be vertical integration and not necessarily monopoly?
Not looking at the whole picture. He's an economist. We Me, I'm an investment person and a business professional. Okay. So when you do integration, whether backward or forward, vertical or what are you trying to do? You are trying to capture more. In this particular case, you listed what you have in the flyer. What does it look to you? Everybody else is out. You are the only one that is in. I don't know why is that. Why that is hard to see.
But who's to blame for that, Mr.
Hold
Sheda?
on.
Who's
No,
to
no, no.
blame for that?
See. What I'm saying. Listen. This is what I'm saying. Right. I'm not saying that. Look, you should stop him. I'm not saying stop him. I'm saying now create the Senate or the legislature or the government must create a framework now, and they don't have to start tomorrow, they have to start now. Create a framework that will allow others to also come in. Do you understand? Now, this is my job now. This is what I do for a living. Now, we always bring in new investment into the market. That's why we call us investment bankers. We always bring new investment to the market. We know what it is like to bring new investments into the market. Do you understand? Now, if you are now bringing a new investment, okay, so just and your guest in the studio does not have that information, but I do. So I can tell him there's a refinery that is under construction, private, in around Ikorodu, in Motaxis in Lagos State. I think about 120 or 160, between 120 and 200 barrels per day refinery. That's a huge investment also. It may not be as big as that of Dangote. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is coming on. And there are a couple of others. Personally, we have been approached to develop a refinery in the past. We declined it. The people who have those licenses are not going to sleep. They are still going to try to put something. And I can tell you, as of today, this morning, I'm telling you, at least 2 are under construction. Do you understand? So, and like you said, the more the merrier. Fine, we would like to have more players in the and that's what I'm saying. To be able to create a framework for more players to come into the industry. That is what we need. But right now, the strategy that Dangote has put forth is to lock up the markets. Okay, so it makes it more difficult for others to come in. For now, we can enjoy this initiative, but the framework must be created to be able to allow others to come in. You understand? Other investments to also come in. You know what? What we have in Nigeria, we have plenty of crude. We have 7 times or maybe 700 times, I can't remember the multiple number of gas that we have. We need huge investments.
We have billions of cubic meters of gas reserves in Nigeria.
Yeah, so what we are saying is that there's a need to make Nigeria an investment-friendly environment for investors, a competitive environment for investors to come in. You understand?
Yeah,
so we have to use. So hold on. So we have to use. We fought for Dangote. We for refineries when they are trying to frustrate him. But we also know that there has to be a ground leveling for others to also come in, not just into this petroleum industry area, but also into other areas of the economy, so that people can be able to say, okay, if you come to them, they are making. That's what America is doing now. That's why you're having investments coming into their country. That's what China is doing. That's why you have a lot of investment coming into China. Let me tell you, let's use China. China is by far the highest steel exporter in the world, by far. As in Russia, I think Russia is like number 3. The number 2 to China is like double the volume of number 2 in terms of in terms of steel export. Now, how many large steel production companies are in China? Less than 5.
All right, Mr. Sheda, please
The
hold
rest,
that
let's
thought.
wait. The rest,
Yes.
hold on. The rest of them who are exporting, who are producing steel, they are small bodies, several small, medium scale industries or factories that are producing steel. And you have a lot of them, and then you see the final output for the country is very huge in the international market. That's the kind of environment we are asking for. That's the kind of thing that only Dangote cannot refine all the crude that Nigeria has.
Mr. Sheda,
If Nigeria has, hold on, if Nigeria
we
has
are
more
due for a
players,
break. So that's why.
hold on, if Nigeria has more players, if Nigeria have more players, then we can export rather than exporting crude. When you look at the value that comes to Nigeria as a result of the value difference, and which is positive, of exporting refined products rather than crude, it is huge. So the advantage of creating a framework to ensure that other players come in is too much for us to just say, oh, because we're having a temporary something. And I'm not saying don't stop this man.
All right.
I'm saying just create the framework for others to come in.
All right, Mr. Sheda, I'll take you up on that when we return from this break. We're due for a break right now. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. Please stay with us.